Are cybercriminals coming after your video games? Turns out the answer is yes. And new reports listed yesterday, EA Games, Steam, and CD Projekt, again, have been added to the list of breaches so far this year. And so let's take a look real quick, a recap on CD Projekt. We followed up on this report back in March. The attack was first reported in February of 2021. They had data stolen in a ransomware attack that included their source code, some of the most popular titles, which are three, Cyberpunk 2077, and then some new releases that they had coming out, their Witcher card game, Gwent, and so on. And so what's going on here is an update to this report, to this breach rather. In a new statement today, CD Projekt said they had learned that the stolen data is now being circulated and may include employee and contractor details. We're not yet able to confirm the exact contents of the data in question, though we believe it may include current and former employee and contractor details, in addition to data related to our games. Furthermore, we cannot confirm whether or not the data involved may have been manipulated or tampered with following the breach. So, the integrity of the data is completely in question. The attackers could go in there and make modifications, and there's no changelog. No one knows what's been updated, added, removed. Currently, we're working together with an extensive network of appropriate services, experts, and law enforcement agencies, including the General Police Headquarters of Poland. We have also contacted Interpol and Europol. So they're working with government agents. The attack was conducted by a ransomware operation known as Hello Kitty, who breached CD Projekt's network. We talked about them collecting the source code of all of these top games, but it's also information on their employees, the administrative side, legal side, HR, probably personal identifiable information, information on contractors, I think they mentioned. So it's a pretty significant breach. But now, another threat actor group known as Payload Bin, previously known as Babic Locker, had recently published that they claim is the full source code for CD Projekt games, consisting of 364 gigabytes of data. So it was pretty unclear when we reported on this back in February how this ransomware gang was actually able to get into CD Projekt's environment and actually get that data. At the time, they had released a number of screenshots on underground forums with proof that they had collected that information. So this is just an evolving story here where it's possible that that ransomware gang sold that information to this threat actor, or maybe that threat actor was able to exploit the same methods that Hello Kitty was able to, although that's less likely. So this company is, their livelihood is at jeopardy. I mean, these are their games, and if you have the source code, and it's a very competitive market too, if you have the source code, you can unpackage it and start releasing competitor content on a relatively low budget. It's a pretty capital-intensive business. But we do know that the global gaming industry as a whole is worth around $150 billion, and it's expected to grow year over year by 7 to 10%. So it's a huge market. It's going to continue to grow. There's a lot of money into it, and it just makes for a very prime target for threat actors. So this was a follow-up to CD Projekt, but then some more reports came out. Hackers steal wealth of data from game giant EA. Again, the source code was taken from FIFA 21 and the Frostbite engine, which is the engine that powers some of the most popular games like Battlefield. It's really, that's the IP of your game development. It's everything that is the foundation of the game, and then you build up from there. So in theory, someone could take the source code of this engine and make a replica of Battlefield. Let's go on to the story here. Hackers have broken into gaming giant EA Electronic Arts. It's a Friday, can't speak. the publisher of Battlefield, FIFA, and The Sims, and stole a wealth of game source code related to internal tools. So Motherboard reported on this. They were able to get that information from some underground forums. And then there were some screenshots that were published on there to show proof that they had taken that data. So in the forums posted, the hackers said they've taken the source code for FIFA as well as the matchmaking server. The hackers also said that they've obtained source code for Frostbite engine, powers a number of their games. We talked about that. Other stolen information includes proprietary EA frameworks and software development kits, which are bundles of code that can make game development more streamlined, again, lowering the cost. In all, the hackers say they have taken 780 gigabytes of data and are advertising it for sale in various underground hacking forums posted by that have been viewed by Motherboard. So they don't have the actual screenshots here yet. I'm sure in the coming days we'll see more. EA confirmed to Motherboard that they did indeed suffer a data breach and that the information listed by the hackers was the data that was stolen. So there is validity to this. We're investigating from a statement from EA. Like most statements, they're investigating the recent incident and intrusion in their network, where a limited amount of game source code and related tools were stolen. Okay, so not everything, but still something, right? No player data was accessed, so there's no risk to you, the user. Following the incident, we've already made security improvements and do not expect an impact on our games or our business. We're actively working with law enforcement officials and experts as part of an ongoing criminal investigation. So they say that it's not a significant amount of their source code, their development code, but they are investigating it, and we'll see what happens from there. So a lot of these attacks are focused on the source code and then extorting it in some cases, but it seems like they're mostly just distributing it straight to to a seller, which kind of makes sense. I mean, we talked about this the other day with the Colonial Pipeline, where they were able to retrieve back $2.3 million of the $4 million that was paid. And one of the things that's kind of speculated is, did the FBI say, hey, go pay it and we'll track them down? And so if I were a threat actor and I was thinking in that way, I might say, well, why would I go straight to the company that's going to have the FBI, the resources and capabilities of the federal government behind them, and have the ability to track me down? Why would I put myself in that position? So instead, I'll just sell directly to someone like a competitor or someone that's not going to really create a lot of buzz around this. That's kind of the concern here is threat actors are evolving their methodologies of getting paid. It may not be the biggest payday that they're looking for, but it may be a more safe route for them to get paid and continue these strings of attacks. The next one I want to look at here is Steam gaming platform hosting malware. So Steam is a huge resource for gamers. You can buy games digitally. There's a community behind it. You can modify games and enhance games, and it's a whole platform for gamers. And something around some tens of millions of people access this platform every month. So it's a significant gateway. And we're going to talk about what's happening here with this malware, because seems like there's a campaign that can emerge from this that's a little bit more systemic than what people might think of initially. So it's not targeting the source code or any games in particular in this case, but it's actually hosting malware onto the platform in an attempt to infect other people's devices or exploit vulnerabilities through platforms that they may have installed on their computer. And the kicker is, you don't have to have a Steam installed, and you don't have to have a video game installed to be hit by this attack. So even if you're not a gamer, you can be susceptible to something like this. So emerging malware is lurking in Steam profile images. Look out for Steam Hide, an emerging loader malware that disguises itself inside profile images on the gaming platform Steam, which researchers think is being developed for a wide-scale campaign. The Steam platform merely serves as a vehicle which hosts the malicious file, according to research from GData. The heavy lifting in the shape of downloading, unpacking, and executing a malicious payload fetched by the loader is handled by an external component. So Steam's not hosting the malware, there's an external component that's sending this payload, which accesses the malicious profile image on one Steam profile. The external payload can be distributed via crafted emails to compromised websites. While hiding malware in an image file's metadata is not a new phenomenon, using a gaming platform such as Steam is previously unheard of. Again, this is building upon the case of that campaign that they were talking about. Are there going to be using this as sort of a supply chain attack? Instead of infecting a company to infect another company, can we affect a distribution point that millions of people use every single day and come to every day as a way to distribute this malware? And they don't even need to do it through Steam as well. So they have another campaign where they can do some social engineering through email. This is just a screenshot of the researcher showing the malware itself hidden in the Steam profile. And then this is an actual picture of the image that's been circulating with the malware. So the malware downloader is hiding in the Steam profile's image metadata, specifically in the International Color Consortium profile, which is standardized color schemes. Attackers hide their malware in benign images commonly shared online, including memes. So memes are a pretty effective delivery system for sure. Sharing them not just on social media, but sharing them on internal platforms. If you have a Facebook group, or if you have Telegram channels, or Slack, or anything like that, those are also vehicles. The low quality image shows 3 frames of the white guy blinking, so we can see this. Victims of the profile image scam don't have to be on Steam, we talked about this, or have any game platform installed. Updating the malware only requires uploading a new profile picture. So they can go in the back end, update the malware, apply that into the metadata of a new image, update the image profile, and now they have a completely updated new malware that they can use and deploy. So very effective distribution system. So what are the plans behind this? Well, once the malware is executed, it copies itself to your local app data. And here's what to look out for here. Software, Microsoft Windows, current version, and run bromal. And it says they have hidden tools inside their malware that aren't currently being used but could be dangerous later. So they have expectations of dropping something later. Which includes checking if Teams is installed on infected machines, and a method stub named change hash that indicates developers are working on increasingly complex iterations of existing malware. So the researchers just kind of cap up here by saying that this is going to be more widespread in the future. There's going to be more attacks coming out, emerging from this, and the fact that they can check for systems that may have a vulnerability in them, that's pretty dangerous. So that's going to wrap it up for today's report. I hope you find value in these conversations. Please drop a comment down below with any of your feedback on how we can improve, or if there are topics of interest to you that you want to explore and have us talk about a little bit more. And if this is valuable, again, like, share, subscribe, and do all the stuff for the algorithm. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. Have a great weekend.